What's going on, everybody? It's Bear, and welcome back to another album review. Sorry that it's been kind of taking a little bit. Work's been kicking my ass recently, and I just haven't had the energy to get up and make the video. So I'm doing it now. I'm actually trying to get this out today. Hollywood Undead just released their new Empire Volume 1 album. And considering it's Volume 1, we can expect a Volume 2 in the future. I've heard from rumors that Volume 2 is going to be more about the hip-hop side and ballads. And as you know, I'm a big fan of Hollywood Undead. I was excited for this album, and I'm just going to say now, it did not disappoint. So let's get right into it with track number 1. We start off with Time Bomb, which was the second single of the new Empire Volume 1 album, and all of the members are on this song, all 5 of them. And it actually reminds me of it going back to a heavier set than they used to do, and I actually love Time Bomb because I listened to the song before it came out on the album, and you know, I was always blasting it because I was like, I love this new sound that's coming from Undead. And the song is very progressive as well, like switching between all of the members and, you know, giving them like their own chance to shine in the song. Danny does a great job in the chorus, as he usually does. Really brings out like the new type of sound that Hollywood Undead wants to bring out. This song features J3T, Danny, and Charlie Scene. This wasn't a song that I was very particularly, you know, too hyped for. It wasn't too to my liking. I can say that I do prefer Charlie Scene's verse a lot more than I do J3T. Maybe it's because Charlie's more versatile when it comes to rapping, in my opinion, but I'm also not a big fan of the chorus in this song. But, you know, not every album is perfect. A lot of albums are going to have, even the good albums, are going to have at least one bad song on there. This is the first single from the album, Already Dead, and the song is about being numb and how it may sound bad, but being immune to people's bullshit is empowering. That is his quote for the song. And this was actually when I started to realize, like, after the Psalms EP that they recently released back in November of 2018, this was when I realized that they wanted to become a different type of sound. I love hearing J-Dog scream vocals on here. Just J-Dog getting very aggressive and getting, you know, all in his emotions. It's always great to hear J-Dog do his screamed vocals. I'm surprised that Charlie doesn't do a lot of vocals on here, like his dirty vocals. I'm surprised that he doesn't do a lot of that. The chorus is very catchy. And it has me singing along every single time I listen to it. And it's backed by great guitars and great kick drums that just make this song even more powerful than they already is. This is the third single of the album, features J-Dog, J3T, and Charlie. This is the third single from the album, and I'll be honest, I did not like the song at first. I thought it was kind of boring. After hearing what they have set up for the album, and like hearing the sounds before it, I can kind of understand why it sounded bad at first, because I only listened to it as a singularity, but as an album, like as a compilation, Empire fits very well after Already Dead. J-Dog actually has some really good flow during the first verse, and I'm not a big fan of the chorus for this song. I don't like when a chorus is just repeating the title of the song and just getting higher and higher with it. Like, I'm not a big fan of that. But they also have a weird bridge in this song about spiritual cleansing, which I didn't really understand. Nonetheless, it actually is a pretty good song. This is definitely an old school Hollywood Undead track. You have Funny Man on the rapping side, and then you have Danny doing the chorus. It's definitely a lazy chorus, but I'm not a fan of it. It seems like the chorus is just all over the place, to be honest. Charlie probably has the best verse in the song once again, and he has a lot of good wordplay in the song as well. That's all I can say about the song. I didn't really have much to say about it. We got Everybody on this track. This is probably my favorite track on the album that doesn't have a feature. It almost goes into a metalcore / post-hardcore direction where it's very fast-paced and hard-hitting, and it's just a very loose type of track. Like, it gives a lot more to the imagination of what they were trying to figure out, because the guitars and drums fit together very well. Danny delivers on the song as well with the chorus. This is Notes from the Underground / Day of the Dead type song, which Notes from the Underground is one of my favorite albums from them, and Day of the Dead is probably my second least favorite album, which honestly, people disagree with me with this, but Swan Songs is probably my least favorite album from them. Enemy is actually a pretty good track. See, now this is an interesting track, because when it first started, I really thought this was an old school Sleeping with Sirens track. And honestly, it's interesting to me, because it seemed like a hard rock / alternative type direction that they were going with. And I was like, this doesn't really fit much on the album. And then, all of a sudden, a surprise vocal appearance from Kellen Quinn of Sleeping with Sirens, which now I understood why the instrumental sounded like that. And honestly, I feel like the instrumentals mixed with the feature of Kellen Quinn and the mix of Danny's high-pitched vocals and, how he can get to his higher register, I think it actually fits the song very well. I feel like it doesn't really seem forced. It seems like a very natural song that Hollywood Undead would be on, just added with a little bit of Sleeping with Sirens type kick to it. Now this was another feature that I was not expecting. Benji Madden of Good Charlotte. That is a very surprising feature. It's a slower song. Hollywood Undead's attempt at slower songs have been pretty good in my opinion. Outside is one of my favorite tracks that they've released from that. And City is also another example of that. They're basically crying for help in this song. And Benji actually comes in with a faster verse to the slow type beat. I feel like the faster pace actually dampens the song and it gets it to a certain level that I can like, because it's very contrasting from it and it doesn't really seem off. And Danny comes back and he belts out his vocals on this track. Very emotional song for Danny to say, and it almost has a stadium feel. And the final part actually has a somewhat of an instrumental shift, which I very enjoy. So far, Hollywood Undead's releasing a pretty good album for Volume 1. Turns out to be just a part of my nightmare, part of my nightmare. Now the music box opener reminded me of two things. It reminded me of a Swan Songs era Hollywood Undead, and it also reminded me of Avenged Sevenfold, simply because the song is called Nightmare. There's a lot of nice 808s and kick drums for the verses, and it seems like J3T and J-Dog are expressing their mental health and their depression and pretty much them deteriorating. And Charlie comes in with this verse that reminded me a lot of the album I just reviewed, Denzel Curry and Kenny Beats' Unlocked album, and I was surprised by that because Charlie kind of has like his own sort of style when it comes to rapping. It's very fast, but it doesn't really have a lot of leadway. It's just very compressed, and that's it. That's all the tracks that we have for the album, and we're gonna switch it over to the grading side. Lyrics, I'm gonna give it a 7 out of 10. The lyrics were very insightful, and they were, the typical Hollywood Undead type of lyrics that you would hear, but not anything that I could say like surprised me or made me say wow. Instrumentals, I'm gonna give it a 9 out of 10. I love the way that the instrumentals sound on this album. They were very closely put together, as Hollywood Undead's kind of moving in an electronic hard rock type way, and it doesn't really seem like it's very forced. It seems as if they wanted to find their own sound, which I absolutely love, and it fits very well for everything. Arrangement, I'm actually going to give it a 10 out of 10. All the songs fit, and all the songs have the same kind of background. They all have this somber type electronic hard beat, be slower at times, but it didn't seem like there was such a shift that it didn't seem like there was such a shift that just threw the flow of the album off. Enjoyment, I'm gonna give it 8 out of 10. I enjoyed almost all the songs on this album besides Heart of a Champion and Killing It. I was not a big fan of those songs simply because they just didn't seem like the type of stuff that I would be able to listen to. And keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, all of this is just my opinion. You don't need to, bombard the comments saying, I'm wrong because this and this. This is just my opinion. And adding up all the scores, we're going to get to a score of 34 out of 40, which would add up to 8.5 out of 10, as Hollywood Undead takes the cake as the best album of the year thus far. And I hope you guys enjoyed this album review. I'm definitely going to have to get back on reviewing in a couple days, because Amity Affliction, Word Alive, and Polaris all come out with an album, and I'm probably gonna have to review it. But anyway, so I hope you guys enjoyed this. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, do whatever you want with this video. I really don't give a shit. And I hope you guys enjoy. I'll see you guys later.